Good afternoon. Welcome to ArtsFund's digital celebration of the arts. We are thrilled that you are here. Did you enjoy the music? We've been dancing over here. I'm Karen Bergin, and I am absolutely honored to be your MC today. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a white woman with long red hair, and I'm wearing a black and white top. I'm coming to you live from a studio in Seattle's South Lake Union neighborhood with a digital screen behind me displaying moving graphic arrows. When I'm not hosting ArtsFund events, I lead employee giving at Microsoft, and I am very proud to represent a company who, along with our employees, cares so deeply about this region we call home. I would like to acknowledge that the city of Seattle, where ArtsFund is based, is on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. Many of you with us today are on different territories, and I join you in honoring and recognizing those as well. I am also extremely proud to serve as an ArtsFund board member because I passionately believe that arts are a core part of our humanity. They lift our spirits, allow us to express our creativity and form deep connections in our communities. Hopefully you had the chance to enjoy the images from ArtsFund's cultural partners Path with Art and Hilltop Artists with music by DJ Supreme La Rock from KEXP during the pre-show. You've likely already noticed some of the special accessibility and communications features of today's event. Here's ArtsFund's Mike Myers to tell us some more.
Hi everyone, this is Mike Myers, ArtsFund's annual giving manager. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a light-skinned white man with brown hair. I'm wearing a dark green button-up shirt, and I'm standing in front of a white wall. I'm going to talk you through a few features we've implemented for today's event. To maximize accessibility for everyone, we've asked all our speakers to provide visual descriptions of themselves and their surroundings. We'll also add audio description to a recording of this event, which we'll make available within the next few days. Each speaker will be interpreted into American Sign Language, and the signed presentation by Deaf Spotlight will be interpreted into spoken English. This event is also being live captioned, and you can view the caption transcript on the Stream Text platform by clicking the button just below this window labeled Live Captioning Transcript. Throughout the show, we'll use the event chat to post helpful information and links, and we encourage all of you to participate there with us. We love reading your chats. And if you're on social media, you can share about today's program using our hashtag, #CelebrateArts. Now, we hope you'll choose to support ArtsFund's work and all of our partners by making a gift at whatever level is meaningful to you. Whenever you're ready, just click the white donate text at the bottom of your Crowdcast window, or you can use the donation form on ArtsFund's website. If you have any questions or experience technical difficulties, just email us at celebration@artsfund.org, and we'll help sort them out. Enjoy the show.
Thanks, Mike. I want to acknowledge that this is a period of significant upheaval. The pandemic, as well as massive social and political reckonings, have been painful. Personally, I am leaning on the arts to help me process what has happened, what is happening, and to illuminate a path forward. Today, we focus on reimagination. As we build our arts and culture community, we have a unique opportunity to reimagine it and explore ways to be even more creative, even more equitable, and have an even greater impact. Join us in reimagining the arts and our community. This event is a celebration, as well as an opportunity to raise much-needed funds. I'll tell you more about a $50,000 matching challenge later, but please consider joining us as a supporter by clicking the donate button at any time. Let's start, shall we? This event features 16 artists and representatives from arts organisations which are part of ArtsFund's Cultural Partners Network, a group of over 120 non-profits in the central Puget Sound region. We are really proud to feature this powerful mix of artists and cultural workers. We hope you discover new groups and reconnect with some of your favourites. I am excited to begin with the brand new work we commissioned from Leija Farr, who is the first ever Seattle Youth Poet Laureate, a program of Seattle Arts and Lectures. It feels fitting to turn to a poet as a way to launch this event, and Leija's work engages our imaginations and emotions in a powerful way.
Hi, my name is Leija Farr. I am a literary artist from South Seattle, and I'm so honored and privileged to be sharing my poem entitled The Art of Unsticking. The concept of this poem came about, I'm an artist, so I was imagining or personifying the matter that holds our interactions together, our intimacy together. And I thought of honey, because honey is something sticky, it's something that bonds things together. And I imagine that being the magic that keeps us together pre-pandemic, because now that we're in a pandemic, we have to reimagine our worlds and we have to reimagine how we form intimacy with people. And so I decided through the world that I created that I would imagine the wind that separates us being a driving source rather than a barrier, being a fuel rather than a paralysis. And I wanted other people to also be inspired and to not let wind distance us in mental ways. I know it does in physical ways, but not to let it mentally distance you during this time. So this poem is called The Art of Unsticking. There used to be a honey here, bonding the hips of lovers at dinner tables, the hand from friend to friend, crystallizing under this ritual of sugar. Lips and laughs and love clinging to this unpredictable religion, but too sweet to be anything but God, we believed. We watched this rusted gold romance everything. Everything we made pure and unwavering. We hugged our grandmothers and there was honey there. Danced into a night we swore to forget, and honey was our quaking spine, our rebellious legs. The tradition of sticky was soon loosened, made soft and slick by plague. We know what it's like to redefine a craving, our honey, to be served a wind in its place, the color of mason jars, marked by generations of transparent, curled by every living thing that has become it. We remember wind by a path that we were taught that wind is the fuel and the frontier, the willful traveler and the refugee, keeping the palms from ever touching, leaving a name to linger for days and call nowhere its land. But instead, I let wind be the ancestor, where we bury our stories without caskets. I choose to make this wind the sugar, our new honey. I give this wind the name of my sisters and call each one out every morning, stirred endlessly into my cup of tea. Let wind be the food that keeps us from starving. And wind is the song that we never stop twisting to. We unravel and unbody here. Let wind drive us. Let wind bubble in our shoulder blades. Kiss the space where the bodies we love have left, but are still felt. Let it be the stroke in our hair, the touch on our cheek. Bow down to this God and form reverence for its flowing silk, its lubricant for every yearning limb, finding its home in every humid mouth and growing there. Spread your lips and watch it spill, if only quiet, if even briefly. Let it be magical and contagious. Let us not be empty, but full, commanded by infinite voyage, swallowed by wander and wonder and whisper and roar and everything and nothing but everything.
Wow. Thank you, Leija Farr, for such powerful and inspiring words. So excited to follow you and your work. Hello, I'm Sung Yang, board chair of ArtsFund. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm Asian and proud first-generation immigrant. Next to me are our family's piano, harp, and guitar, and sadly, I can't play any of these instruments. My wife and daughter are the real musicians of this home, but I'm blessed to be surrounded by such beautiful sounds. Thank you all for joining our second annual virtual celebration of the arts. And while I love seeing you all on my iPad, I can't wait to see you again in person. I want to start by thanking our corporate and organizational sponsors. Today's event could not be possible without their support. So first, thanks to our premier sponsors, Columbia Bank, Delta Dental of Washington, the Microsoft Corporation, and Wells Fargo. I also want to thank our event sponsors, the Boeing Company and West Monroe Partners, and our supporting sponsors, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Fox Rothschild LLP, Methuen, and Safeco Insurance. You know, as we slowly begin the process of recovery, one thing is clear. When we return to normal, it won't be the normal that we experienced in the past. It will be a new normal. And that new normal must be more equitable and inclusive. That is the way that we will build a stronger and more thriving cultural sector. And at ArtsFund, our mission is to support the arts through leadership, advocacy, and grant making in order to build a healthy, equitable, and creative Washington. Over the past 51 years, thanks to thousands of supporters like you and partners across the decades, we've invested nearly $90 million in grants to 240 regional arts organizations, annually sponsored 10,000 live performances, exhibits, and events when they can happen, and we've trained nearly 1,000 community members to serve on the boards of arts and culture nonprofits. And at the end of the day, we want to ensure that arts are accessible to all and valued as central to maintaining a healthy and creative community. And as we look to the next 50 years, I'm giddy with excitement to imagine how our cultural sector will evolve and thrive with new voices, greater representation, more community partnerships, and broader support for artists and cultural spaces. But this future depends upon you and your continued engagement and support. This is the future we can all reimagine, a new normal that we can hope for and collectively work to achieve. Because despite the challenges we face today, our sector will be stronger, more resilient, and representative when we put this pandemic behind us. And I have reason for this optimism because our arts sector has always punched above our weight. And that's because of the tremendous passion, dedication, and support from this community. So on behalf of ArtsFund and its board of directors, thank you for being with us here today to help reimagine our future. Thanks to our lean and mighty ArtsFund staff for making today happen. And thanks to those who made a gift at registration, and thanks in advance to all who had support throughout the program. Now, I have the honor of introducing two incredible leaders who helped our state and county not only get through this pandemic, but better, safer, and stronger than in any other part of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, our Governor, Jay Inslee, and King County Executive, Dow Constantine. Take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Governor Jay Inslee here. I'm very happy to welcome you to this digital celebration of the arts, sponsored by our ArtsFund. And though we're still gathering virtually, I look forward to the day when we can all get together in person at festivals, plays, musical venues, lecture halls, museums, wooden boat shows, art galleries, libraries, school auditoriums, and watching the art drawn by our first graders. And we're emerging from a harrowing 15 months, we know, of sacrifice and loss, and I want to take a moment to acknowledge that loss It has been great, but I also want to take this time to thank you for doing what you could to ensure that Washington's cultural sector still stands and is still vigorous and still inspiring to us all. Thank you for supporting the stay-at-home mandates, which have been hard for you and your organizations. Thank you for working with my office on safe reopening plans. Thank you for finding a way to serve your communities, even though you've had to close your doors and lay off staff at times. You did the necessary work for the good of all, and we're very, very grateful. Because of your work, more people will be alive next coming months to come enjoy your work and your community's work. Our arts and cultural sector, we know, is a complex ecosystem with organization of all sizes in cities and towns across the state. But despite all the obstacles brought on by the pandemic, strong partnerships and common goals have been forged to lead us into a more vibrant future. More than ever, we need our creative sector to help signal that future is optimistic, that the future will bring health, happiness, and prosperity for all of our communities, and especially in the arts. It's a future where we will work to be more equitable, where we will celebrate and embrace our unique differences. And we're looking forward to unprecedented partnership between the ArtsFund and the Department of Commerce to help distribute millions of dollars in federal pandemic relief. We, of course, look to our Washington State Arts Commission to continue its good work as a statewide catalyst for the arts. I know Karen and her team have worked hard to make sure everybody's informed during this pandemic of what we can do together. And I want to thank the strong leaders and cultural organizations, both in the public and private sector, for committing their time and resources to jumpstart recovery efforts across our state. I also want to thank the legislature, who recently wrapped up a historic and truly extraordinary session. The focus of the 2021 session was relief, recovery, and resilience. And the legislature passed a life-saving $2.2 billion COVID-19 relief bill, a working families tax credit, and climate legislation that will both improve public health and increase economic opportunity. So working together, we will recover, revitalize, and stabilize our Washington's creative sector. And I'm so glad to join with you to celebrate the arts and to offer my gratitude and share my hopes. And last, I want to thank all the creative people themselves. They inspire us on a daily basis. I'm in the library of our residents here, and I was just looking at some art that inspires me. I'm going to show it to you. It's a bentwood box carved by artist Andi Wilbur Peterson. Andi is a member of the Skokomish and Squaxin Island tribe. And I was just looking at it on my bookshelf up here in our library, and I was just thinking of the hands that he made, because we're working on salmon recovery issues. And just looking at this box made me realize what a rich heritage we have, and salmon count, and thank our tribal communities to make sure they're fighting for our salmon. Art inspires us all, so let's keep inspiring our communities. Enjoy the program.
Hi, I'm King County Executive Dow Constantine, and I want to welcome you to ArtsFund's Digital Celebration of the Arts. The performers tonight are second to none, and I know we're all looking forward to doing this again in person next year. King County is home to our region's foundational arts and cultural institutions, and while the pandemic has tested the might of our entire community, it's put an unprecedented strain on our creative sector. Our theaters, venues, performance spaces. You were the first to close in the pandemic, and as we battle the virus, you'll be among the last to reopen. And that's why supporting the arts now in innovative ways like this virtual arts event is so critical to recovery as a community. King County is investing tens of millions of dollars into flexible grants for arts and cultural organizations and helping venues stay afloat while we get closer to the finish line of the pandemic. And we're partnering with the state and federal resources to ensure we're doing everything we can to help artists and the people who work in our creative economy not only weather this storm, but build a better future. Let's be clear. Losing the arts and creative sector would mean losing a cornerstone of our community. preserving, rebuilding, and reinvesting in the things that make our corner of the world so special must be a foundational part of our post-pandemic recovery. And that's why the work of ArtsFund and all the performers, artists, and supporters in our community is so critical to our future. So, thank you. Thank you for your support. Get vaccinated, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again soon, in person.
Thank you to Governor Inslee and Executive Constantine for your deep commitment to the arts. And to all of you joining us today, thank you for engaging. I believe we've somebody who's joining us from Florida. It's great to see you all building community throughout the chat. Please keep that up. Also, please keep giving. You knew I was going to say that. Next up, we have a performance from Seattle Women's Chorus. But first, Deaf Spotlight is here to help us all reimagine events and how to be more accessible. Deaf Spotlight's mission is to inspire and showcase deaf culture and American Sign Language through the arts. Programs include a short play festival and an annual week-long camp for youth who are deaf, hard of hearing, or children of deaf adults. After Deaf Spotlight, Seattle Women's Chorus joins us. They provide a dynamic and powerful voice for LGBTQ+ and women's social justice in our region. They're sharing a beautiful song. It is a beautiful song that was debuted to celebrate the COVID vaccine and the heroes who made it possible: scientists, lab technicians, and vaccine trial participants. It features a singer in her home studio and a thumbnail videos of chorus members overlaid with scenes from nature. Here's Patty Liang and Buddy Elledge of Deaf Spotlight.
Man and woman sitting outside. The woman signs, "Hello from Deaf Spotlight. I'm Patty Liang, Executive Director. I'm an Asian American woman in a lavender top with grey jacket. Buddy and I are in front of a grey fence with vertical slats." The man signs.
Hi, I'm Buddy. I'm the marketing director and a graphic designer. I have a green top on with blue-red cardigan with a gray newsy cap. I have eyeglasses on, and I'm a white man with a gray beard, also wearing blue jeans. We are thrilled to be with you tonight to celebrate ArtsFund Reimagination. Our organization showcases sign language through arts and culture. We host Seattle Deaf Film Festival and our Short Play Festival. We serve deaf, deafblind, deaf, disabled, and hard of hearing communities, and we believe that equitable accessibility is magical. Can you start off with a tip on how events can be accessible, friendly, and perfectly magical? Well, first of all, before you plan events, you need to set up a budget for accessibility.
You got to trust your audience.
You need to trust people. Oh.
Make sure you know what they need, because they know best what they need.
Add captions and transcripts to your vlogs, videos, films, and plays. Captions and transcripts are important.
Hire interpreters and captioners.
Include people from different languages, cultures, abilities, and backgrounds. Share their stories and involve them more.
Set up a media form. Ask for folks' pronouns. Visual descriptions, photos, and a bio. Once they send you that information, you're able to add that into your marketing information.
It will definitely save you time as well. It's important to include visual descriptions on your social media and website as well.
If you have any materials like scripts, transcripts, or PowerPoints, you can go ahead and send those to attendees ahead of time so they can look it over. It's also for the interpreters so they can review the material and prep to make sure your events are successful.
If you want your events to be successful, always listen and accept feedback. It's important to listen to our audiences.
Their feedback will help you improve future events as well. We have a lot of, and it's also important to remember that each events are different and we need to match those accordingly. So be creative and flexible.
And embrace the process as well.
Both of us have experienced personal and professional barriers, and we would like to be able to access any event, anytime, anywhere. Like you, we want the world to be friendly, welcoming, and inclusive.
Let's make new ideas together.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paul Cauldwell. I'm the Artistic Director of Seattle Men's Chorus and Seattle Women's Chorus. I use he, his pronouns. I'm a white gay man with dark brown hair. I'm wearing a maroon shirt and standing in front of a yellow wall. We want to thank the Arts Fund for all you've done for us and for our community, especially during the pandemic. As singers, we really had to reimagine ourselves this year. Dr. Fauci told us to all stay home, so we did. Unable to rehearse or perform together, we used our phones to manufacture music videos in quarantine. We're delighted to share one of those with you today. It's a collaboration with the amazing singer-songwriter Andi Alhadeff, celebrating vaccine victory. We hope you enjoy the Seattle Women's Chorus and Andi Alhadeff singing One Step Closer.
I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. Baby, you say, won't you come to bed now? Put your pen away, won't you rest your head now? Baby, you say, why you're dreaming so hard, working every day only got you so far. But you don't understand. We are the path we choose. I like the wind in my face and the stones in my shoes. I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. At times I cling to the faintest glimmer, clouds are rolling in and the dream gets dimmer. But you can't just wait for the perfect timing, you'll never get a view if you don't start climbing. And if I lose my faith, yeah, if the wind's too strong, I know that though I'm not there, I'm right where I belong. I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. From where I stand, I can see the top, but I will not, no, I won't ever stop. And God only knows when I cross that hill, but if I turn back now, then I never will. I may not be up the mountain, I may not be up the mountain, but I'm one step closer. I may not have all the answers, I may not have all the answers, but I'm one step closer. I may not have found the secret, I may not have found the secret, but I'm one step closer. I may not be up the mountain, but at least I'm on the mountain, and I'm one step closer. One step closer. Oh, yeah.
A snow-covered mountain rising above evergreen trees and blue wildflowers. Screen goes to title, Seattle Women's Chorus. Over to Karen.
Wow, stunning. That performance really captured where we are. We may not be up the mountain, but we are, we hope, one step closer. I hope you enjoyed that. I know what I'm singing in my car on the way going home after this. I also assure you that there are still many, many, many amazing arts moments to come. Don't you think that the quality and innovation, passion of our arts community rivals any other big metropolitan region? I do. Next, we'll hear from an artist who has played a major role in our region's artistic success. Donald Byrd is the artistic director of Spectrum Dance Theatre. Donald is often referred to as a citizen artist, a descriptive that perfectly aligns with Spectrum's mission and Donald's personal beliefs. Dance is both an art form and a social and civic instrument. After Donald, we have a first for our celebration of the arts. A member of our Cultural Partners Network, the Seattle Asian American Film Festival, provides a space for Asian American voices, perspectives and histories that reflect the diversity and richness of the city's Asian American and Pacific Islander communities. This is our first film screening ever. How exciting.
Hello, my name is Donald Byrd, and I am the artistic director of Spectrum Dance Theater. I am sitting, I'm a Black male, kind of medium brown skin. I am sitting in front of a painting of the Russian-American artist Alexander Koletsky, and there are some other art objects and floral things to either side of the painting. Reimagining is really difficult. But what is really, really difficult is executing what you've reimagined. This year at Spectrum has been really difficult because of the pandemic. Like all of us, we have struggled with things, but we have managed to really keep moving forward. And that is really exciting and is a byproduct, I think, of reimagining our future, reimagining not just how the organization goes about doing things, but also how the work that I do as an artist, how I do that, how I work with the company. I think one of the things that's been difficult about it is working while being exhausted. The year, because of the challenges, often I found myself, and I think the staff at Spectrum, all of us have found ourselves really stretched to the limit and really exhausted, not just physically exhausted, but emotionally exhausted, perhaps you might say psychically exhausted. Every day, it was like, well, what's going to be different than what it was yesterday, than what it was when I went to bed, when I left work? So what we've had to do was, in the process of reimagining, it was not only like a big reimagining, we had to, each day was a reimagining. How do we do it today? And we had to do it on each day differently than we had done the day before in many cases, but absolutely the way it had been done in the past. But I think the big message here is that we're still here. And we're still here because of our commitment to what we do to the community, to art. And I think in some ways that's very much like our relationship with ArtsFund, that we are here because ArtsFund has really been committed to ensuring that we are able to go forward, and not just we at Spectrum, but the arts in King and Pierce County. So I'm like really grateful to ArtsFund, because what it's done is, in some ways, we have been able to depend on ArtsFund to kind of create a baseline for us in terms of our expectations and what we can work with in terms of financially. And so that's important, I think, for an arts organization to know what is available to you, what might be available to you, and that you can count on it. Count onableness is something that's very, very important in the arts, and I think in everything. But when I'm working with dancers and I'm working with other collaborators, it is important that I know that I can count on them to not only do the work really excellently, but also to do it on time and on schedule and on budget. So ArtsFund has been like that for us. They've been able to provide us with, as I said before, kind of baseline for doing the work that we do, a baseline for the support of the work that we do. Thank you, ArtsFund.
Hello, my name is Victoria Ju, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a light-skinned Chinese person with long black hair, wearing a purple blouse. Behind me is a blank white wall. I am the co-director of the Seattle Asian American Film Festival, which recently wrapped our first virtual festival in March. We are the only film festival in Seattle to exclusively highlight Asian American and Pacific Islander voices, histories, and perspectives, and we are proud to be on our way to our 10th annual film festival in 2022. The programs that we have shared throughout the years explore the diversity of AAPI communities, from our histories and hardships to our joy and creativity. The following film is a beautiful and somber animated short from our 2020 festival, titled The Hole, made by Will Kim, with music by Green So. A mother bird with a big hole in her heart embarks on a journey of searching for her baby, who have failed to fly and fell into a hole. The hole in the mother bird's grieving heart eventually gets filled with the baby bird's spirit, which has been following her the entire journey. Hope you enjoy the film.
Small yellow bird on branch close to larger red bird, silhouetted by a green heart shape behind them. Red hearts blossom around the birds. Yellow bird moves to end of the branch, looks back at red bird, stretches wings, jumps from the branch, tries to fly but plummets through the blue sky, falling to the ground where it bounces and rolls into a round hole. Red bird flies circling down to the bottom of the hole where yellow bird lies on its back unmoving. Red bird stretches its wings open and drapes them over yellow bird. Red bird flies into a town landscape, 2 human figures in it. Yellow bird lies unmoving. From the immobile body, a yellow bird shadow sits up. From the bird shadow's beak, pink daubs of colour float upwards. Pink daubs of colour float by red bird in the town landscape. Red bird flies to a leafy tree with branch patterns, then flies on and comes face to face with a fish-shaped green vase that has colourful flowers arranged in it. Fishes swim above yellow bird's body. Branch patterns appear. Red bird flies out of central rough circle of pink, turns, looks back at circle, now pulsating yellows and pinks. Circle explodes. Red bird flies through winter branches in a white sky, then through winter branches in a black sky with a moon. Blotches of earth colours. Red bird flies out of green colour. Greys and whites become blue wave-like shapes that crash against red bird flying through. Road leading to 2 tunnel circles. Red bird flies into black tunnel circle. Colourful plant life, leaves, different shapes and colours fill the screen. Space in centre into which blobs of colour disappear. Red bird flies after them. Blue and green shapes, yellow leaf, red flowers, green stem-like lines flash and flash over them. Traffic lights and street lights. Bird-shaped clouds, grey colour bridge with tunnel. Red bird lands on bridge, then flies into tunnel. Tunnel changes from black to flashing greens and yellows. Lying on a black background is only an outline of yellow bird drawn in yellow dashes. The screen above becomes full of plant life and insect shapes. Redbird perched on branch, silhouetted against a green heart, head towards dotted outline of yellow bird on branch. Large hole in redbird's body. Blobs of colour stream into the large hole, joining together until redbird becomes entirely red once again. Written, animated, edited, produced and directed by Will Kim. Music by Green Sue. WILLKIM.net.
Wow, that film took me on quite the emotional journey. The first time I watched it in preparation for today's amazing event, I had tears galloping down my cheeks, being lucky enough to be a mother to my own little bird. That was beautifully done. So many of us have experienced grief over the past year, from losses big and small. This powerful film is an example of the way art helps us process what we're experiencing, the good and the bad. Speaking of feelings, our next performer is likely to touch your heart. Daniel Pock is a founder of cultural partner Totem Star, a diverse community of young recording artists building life skills in communication, collaboration, and critical thinking through their creative pursuits in music production and performance. When ArtsFund's Sarah Sidman asked Daniel to premiere a new work at this event, he had something really exciting to propose. This new song, it's something of a love letter to our past selves, the ones who took risks, dreamed of a brighter future, and reimagined what life could be like. Believe me, you are in for a treat.
On ArtsFund, my name is Daniel Pock, and I'm so happy to be here with you today for your annual digital celebration of the arts. When Sarah and ArtsFund hit me up about this opportunity, I was so excited, and even more so about the theme, reimagination. And it hit me that at the same time that Sarah and I started talking about this, I was working on a song called Pineapples that really was about the reimagination of my entire family. Let me take you back to the 1900s real quick. My great-grandfather migrated to Hawaii in 1905. And I just cannot imagine what went through his mind when he made that decision that would completely alter the course of our family's history, and is very much a big reason why I'm even able to be here today with you all for this celebration. The song is about hope. The song is about perseverance. The song is about resilience. The song is really about reimagining a future that has yet to be written. And so we're gonna go on that journey today. And for this specific performance, we're gonna head down to King Street Station, which will be the future home for Totem Star, the youth record label that Thaddeus Turner and I co-founded back in 2010. When our young, talented recording artists are able to record and continue to build their community down at King Street Station, they too will be able to reimagine what the future will be like for their songs, for their community, and for their stories. So come down with me, and thanks for having me. It's gonna be awesome singing this song for you all. Hope you're all doing well. Hope your families are all safe and healthy. And again, let's reimagine a better future together. Much love and aloha.
Daniel, in a warehouse-like space, sitting on a stool with guitar, recording equipment around him.
Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams. Your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Red that on my hands, in my pocket I carry the picture you sent to me. I'd even need a little love sweat dripping from my shoulders. Kids are getting older. Hey, We traveled so far across the sea, we never knew what we'd find. Someday our children living, laughing, thinking about how far we've come. Pineapples in my dreams, your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams, your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. 11 blessings, but never ready. Give me some of your sugar, honey. Pineapple liquor in my cup. Tell the boss I ain't playing no more. We traveled so far across the sea, we never knew what we'd find. Someday our children, they'll be smashing pineapples at sunset. Pineapples in my dreams, your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams, your love is all I need. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams, your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up. Pineapples in my dreams, your love is all I need. Finally we'll be free. I don't wanna wake up.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to acknowledge the incredible work of our staff, board, donors, and volunteers. Without you, our work wouldn't happen, and we are all beyond grateful for everything that you do. My name is Michael Greer, and I am the president and CEO at ArtsFund. I am a light-skinned black male with no hair and a mustache, and I am wearing a brown turtleneck and a gray sport coat and sitting in front of my garden. Someone recently pointed out to me the intimacy of a self-description. And while the primary intent of my verbal description is to make my remarks more accessible to everyone, they also offer an insight into the lens through which I experience the world. I begin with that insight into my own experience and identity, with the hope that my self-description serves as a sign that we are working to make all of our spaces more diverse, equitable, and inclusive to all. Throughout this past year, ArtsFund has stood with you all through so much. At this time last year, we knew that life had drastically changed, and we also knew that we needed to be there for our stakeholders to provide support. We've been staunch advocates, telling the story of our sector through data and research, and over the past year, we have successfully provided millions in support through our Emergency Relief Fund, our 2020 general allocations, our Youth Access Opportunity Grants, and other funding. And over the next 8 weeks, through our partnership with the Washington State Department of Commerce and our 2021 general allocations, we will provide an additional $10 million to the arts and culture community. But to what end? Our vision is to create a community with a dynamic, equitable, and robust cultural sector, where the arts are accessible to all and valued as central and critical to a healthy society. That is what drives our work. While the past year has brought us untold challenges, it has also provided opportunity to reimagine the future. The pandemic has redefined what is possible, and an increased focus on racial equity has cast a light on both the inequities of our sector and also on the powerful voices that will take arts and culture into the future. ArtsFund's mission to support the arts through leadership, advocacy, and grant making will leverage these opportunities in order to build a healthy, equitable, and creative Washington. We aim to lead by example, and while we are not perfect, nor do we expect our partners to be, we are actively questioning the practices, our values, our programs, to see how we can better align them with the needs of our community. One of our goals for this year is to evaluate our activities through the lens of a newly adopted strategic framework that will define the future of ArtsFund in a post-pandemic world. Whether it is through digital programming, new styles of performances, or a revisioning of what audiences are centered, we also know that our partner organizations are reimagining their futures through the lens of this new world. To support that reimagination, ArtsFund will continue to rely on the robust support from our community that we have been so fortunate to maintain for over half a century. Our corporate supporters, our individual donors, and our public funding partners all are part of what makes this possible. The generosity of past generations, combined with our new support, allows us to fund the future of this sector. And through all of this, we will continue to tirelessly advocate for arts and culture and what it brings to our lives. In the wake of the murder of George Floyd and the continued violence against many in our Black communities and communities of color, people spoke out through art. As we were in the midst of an unprecedented lockdown for our own public health and safety, people connected through art. And even as cultural workers and artists lost their jobs at frightening rates far above other industries, they continued to make and reimagine how to deliver art to eager audiences. Throughout the past year, art and artists have demanded to be seen for what they bring to our community during a time of crisis. And it is part of ArtsFund's mission to advocate for a sector that has given so much to so many in these times. It is this same sector that will help us heal and rebuild. With a half a century of building relationships in this community, ArtsFund intends to leverage our influence and champion the message that the arts are an essential part of daily life and a force for positive change in our world in all the spaces we occupy. In the business community, among our major philanthropists, with our funders, and with our elected officials, we will promote the value of arts and culture in our community and spur those stakeholders to action. I began my words with insight into who I am and how I see myself. I hope that our programming today gives you all more insight into who ArtsFund is and how we view our mission. At ArtsFund, we know that art is essential to healthy communities, not just healthy arts communities, but for everyone. And we are working hard to make our vision a reality. But for all that we do, we are only as good as our partners. Our strength lies at the intersection of our mission, our vision of a community with a dynamic, equitable, and robust cultural sector, and all of you. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to be a part of this work and for joining us in making our shared vision a reality.
ArtsFund has been in the community for over 50 years. We are a nonprofit based in the Central Puget Sound region, and we have a wide network of over 120 cultural partners. Our mission is to strengthen the community by supporting the arts through leadership, advocacy, and grant making. It was clear that the pandemic-related shutdowns had immediate, significant, and devastating impact on our cultural partners and on the communities that they serve. All of the organizations had to immediately cancel their in-person programming and begin to come up with a pivot plan for delivering programming in alternate methods.
This has been a really tough year for everyone. Art is such an important part of society, and we need it now more than ever to get through this pandemic.
Way back in March, when the pandemic really started, we immediately canceled our classes and closed our building.
Probably the last live thing that we had was a gallery workshop for blind and visually impaired youth, and we were trying to figure out why are their kids, why are they not showing up? So first parent I talked to said, we can't come. And that was the last thing that we did for the public.
We knew we were going to have to do some, some pretty painful things. And as awful as some of those things were, and that included laying off, 90% of our staff, we knew that it was going to be more awful if we put ourselves in a position where we were not going to be able to come back again.
We felt bad. I think we're a music venue too, so we're getting the brunt of it in a lot of different ways, since we haven't been able to have any of our shows open to the public, and we haven't really been able to do classes either, so we're just kind of stuck.
My greatest fear has been that cultural organizations, cultural nonprofits would go under, that they wouldn't be able to weather these challenges, that would close their doors, and that they wouldn't be there on the other side of all of this.
It was just scary. It was like, and you had no answers. It was like trying to lead something that you don't know what to do. It's like having a blindfold on, walking into that dark room, and you have no clue when it's coming off.
COVID is not the only thing that has happened this year. It's been an incredible year of social and civic movement, of political unrest and change, and we've been seeing reactions from cultural organizations and communities throughout the year.
I think there was a lot that happened. I think what I was excited about what happened and proud of everybody was that action was taken. Like, it wasn't cool to back away from the conversation. It became clear that people wanted to be heard, wanted to show their support.
A few months in, we had young folks that were like, cool, let's go run sound at every single protest. Let's be out there every single night. Let's get every organization in town to show up for each other. And I love that. It's awesome, and it was powerful. It's also hard.
But all the marching and all the crying and all the tears and all the emotions that we had, it doesn't go away once the world opens back up.
Over these last few years, we spent so much time, too much actually, focused on the shadows cast by people who perpetuate hate and fear. And we spent so little time on the sunbeams shown by people who spent their life nurturing community and transmitting love through their life's work.
Throughout this pandemic and throughout all of the lockdowns and all of the different things that have been happening in the world, the first thing we turn to for comfort or for happiness or for anything is art.
When you don't know what to say, we try to find it through art. When we don't know how we're feeling or how to communicate it, we try to find that song that can communicate it for us, or that song that can uplift our spirits.
It's been exciting to see how the reach of organizations has expanded during this time, when really you could have expected it to contract. But through a creative reimagination, not only of the programs that they're offering, but how they're offering them, cultural nonprofits are reaching new audiences throughout the region, throughout the state, and throughout the world.
I think it's this accessibility question too, that I think it's always healthy to have these options, and I hope that stays. Even if everything's great, we all get vaccinated and we're back to normal, I really hope, even these digital platforms that really help other people access.
There feels like there's something new going on, that there's more interest and hope in helping to reach everybody. And the understanding of things like inclusive design, where you're trying to make things accessible to people from the start.
There is absolutely a wonderful opportunity to continue some of that programming virtually and to shift some of our existing programming to be hybrid, virtual, and in person in the future.
We don't know what the future is going to look like, but I'm confident that together as a community we can dig our roots deep and grow and thrive into the next season.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make the world that we've imagined. That's my hope.
Okay, let's go, let's do it. As Sharon said, let's make the world that we've imagined. We are at a critical point in our program. This is the moment where I encourage you to funnel your inspiration, your hopes for the future, your desire to see our arts sector recover and thrive and make a gift. ArtsFund can make grants, build leadership, and effectively advocate because of our generous supporters. And if you need just a little extra push, a small group of dedicated trustees and advisors have put together a $50,000 matching challenge pool. Once we raise $50,000, that includes gifts you made at registration and today, that match will be activated and ArtsFund will receive $100,000. How fabulous would that be? We're off to a strong start, but we need more of you arts lovers to step up. Use the pop-up on your screen or click the donate button. Thank you for everything and anything that you can do. Every single dollar will work really hard on your behalf. You can trust ArtsFund to maximize the impact of your gifts. We're just beginning to see what our reimagined community could look like. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. I think it's really fitting that the next portion of the programme features our outstanding contribution to the arts honoree. This award was first presented in 1989 and recognises individuals who have helped build, sustain and reimagine our arts community. A link to the past honoree list is in the chat. You'll notice many have been artists or philanthropists. This year's honoree, Ijeoma Oluo, embodies both. She is the author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, So You Want to Talk About Race, and most recently, Mediocre, The Dangerous Legacy of White Male America. Her work has been featured in The Guardian, The New York Times, and The Washington Post. Also in the last year, Ijeoma co-founded the Seattle Artist Relief Fund, which became the largest source of direct COVID relief funds to artists in Washington state, distributing $1 million in grants. We are joined by Tim Lennon, Executive Director of Langston, which works to strengthen and advance our community through Black arts and culture, to present the award.
Hello, fellow supporters of the arts. My name is Tim Lennon. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a bald black man in glasses wearing a plaid shirt and a blue jacket. I'm taping this from the Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute Theater, which hasn't seen the public in over a year. It is such a profound honor to be here today to introduce my friend and an inspiration to us all, Ijeoma Oluo, and to join ArtsFund and all of you in recognizing her outstanding contribution to the arts. I've known Ijeoma for a long time. Professionally, at Langston, we've presented her and her two talented family of collaborators on our stage to discuss their film, Thin Skin. We hosted a fundraiser she threw for the incredible organization Creative Justice, which you all should support as well. And most recently, we partnered with Ijeoma and her team to run the Seattle Artist Relief Fund. Personally, I've been a friend and admirer of Ijeoma's since long before either of us were the kind of folks who would be up here doing this kind of stuff. We met and bonded over our shared love of our local arts and music scenes, over the joys and struggles of raising beautiful Black boys in this hard, hard place, in mutual admiration of one another, and in celebrating and supporting the artists, writers, activists, and candidates who inspire us to do and be better. To my mind, Ijeoma could be given an award for any one of the many contributions she's made to the cultural landscape of this region, nationally and beyond. Her regular writing on cultural issues has served to illuminate millions. Her two incredible books have pushed us from endless conversations about race and urged us as a nation to take a deep look at ourselves and actually do something about the mess that we've made of this place. At the start of the pandemic, when so many of us in this virtual room, myself included, were wringing our hands and wondering what to do, Ijeoma and her partners, Gabriel Teodros and Ebony Arunga, went ahead and made a thing, the Seattle Artist Relief Fund, that would grow to become the single biggest source of funding for artists in the state of Washington last year. She could also win this award for just remaining her beautiful self while daily juggling being a mother, partner, business owner, creative, commentator, and Black woman in Seattle, USA. Each of these is worth its own award, but all of them flow from Ijeoma's huge heart, and importantly, the way she puts her love into action by showing up. She shows up as her whole self and puts everything she has and more into service to community. She's inspired me to show up better. If everyone in this virtual room can learn one thing from her incredible example, it should be that you too can and should show up and show up better for Black women, for trans and queer folk, for our Indigenous and Asian and Latino family, for the disabled, for our houseless neighbors, for one another. Showing up for our community as arts supporters and arts organizations is more than issuing statements and encouraging conversations. Showing up means putting everything you are and have out there and putting it to work. Showing up means following the lead of those most impacted by our inequitable systems. And it means failing and trying again and again and not giving up. Ijeoma hasn't given up yet. Not on the work, not on this community, not on us. So let's celebrate her right now. A lot. And then after this Zoom, let's go out there and show up like she does. To Ijeoma, I love you, friend. Thank you for your contribution to the arts, but also to my life, to this town, and to the world. To the rest of you, on behalf of ArtsFund, I am very pleased to present the Outstanding Contribution to the Arts Award to Ijeoma Oluo.
Hello, I'm Ijeoma Oluo. I am a light-skinned Black woman with curly shoulder-length hair, wearing a yellow button up top and matching yellow earrings. I am sitting in front of a record collection and some turntables. Thank you so much for this beautiful award. It's really such an honor to have this and to be recognized for my work and the work of my team. I really want to just kind of jump right in here and say that the Seattle Artists Relief Fund would not be anything near as amazing as it has been if it weren't for the work of the entire team. That includes my partner, Gabriel Teodros, Ebony Arunga, and last but certainly not least, Tim Lennon and the amazing team at Langston. What started as a really small project with a goal of $20,000 to send out to artists in the community to help us get through what we thought at the time was going to be a few rough weeks, ended up being a year-long project that sent over $1 million to Seattle area artists in need. I had not imagined that the project would grow so big, that it would bring so much to us. We quickly were in over our head, and when Langston stepped up with such generosity to help administer this fund, it really was a lifesaver. Tim, this is really how you are all of the time. I shouldn't have been surprised at how quickly you stepped up to help us and to help your community. It is really what you do time and time again, and that's why I'm so proud to call you a friend, and I'm so happy to be in community with you. Seattle feels better knowing that you're in it. This has been one of the most challenging years of my life, and I am sure that I am not alone in that. But it has also amazed me in all of the ways in which we have come together as an arts community. I moved to Seattle when I was 2 years old. I have always lived here, but I would say that it's within the last 10 years that it's really become my home. It is a place that has nurtured me in my writing career, has nurtured my brother in his musical and his writing career, has nurtured so much of my family and friends. It is a place where I finally feel like I belong. Every step of the way, as I was finding my feet as a writer, the Seattle arts community, especially the arts community of color, has supported and nurtured me. I don't know what I would be without it. And so this fund was simply a way of trying to give back in some small measure all that has been given to me and my family and my loved ones over the years. The truth is that through this hardship, we have been given opportunity after opportunity to show that we are in community with each other, and to redefine what it means to care for each other. Our artists have supported protests. Our artists have been protests. Our artists have been mutual aid, have been comfort and joy in hard times. It is important that we remember that we are very little without the arts, and we are even less without the artists that make the arts. I'm so grateful to be a part of these efforts to uphold Seattle arts community. I am so thankful to every person who has donated to the Artist Relief Fund, to every person that has bought art, who has tipped a musician, who has done whatever they can to help keep artists afloat in these challenging times. Because the art is what is keeping us afloat. Thank you so much for this award. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you to ArtsFund. Thank you to all the supporters of ArtsFund. I love you all. Let's continue to show the world that we are a community, even if we can't get within 6 feet of each other, to show the world that we care for each other, that we leave no one behind. I know we can do it. We are doing it. We are here because we've done it in the past. And we will have an amazing future if we really believe that we can get through this together. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Ijeoma. What an impact you have had. We are so grateful. Welcome back, Michael. I have a quick update on giving. We are incredibly close to meeting that challenge. We are just a few gifts away, less than $1,000. Help us cross the finish line, please.
That is amazing, Karen. On behalf of all of ArtsFund and myself and the entire arts community, we're just so grateful for everyone that has shown their support today. So really, on behalf of all of us, thank you so much.
Agreed, Michael. Well, this program has been jam-packed with talent and wisdom. I'm feeling incredibly inspired. How about you, Michael? What's top of mind for you?
You know, watching Ijeoma and Tim lift each other up and everyone around them is really inspiring. It gives me hope that as we reimagine our future, we're doing this together. And that is really, I think, the only way that we are going to be able to realize this vision that we're talking about.
I totally agree, Michael. It's such a time of promise. And I'm grateful to you and to ArtsFund and our amazingly talented arts sector for helping us to take our next step. I, for one, am fizzing with excitement for the possibilities and for what's next. So how are all of you at home feeling? What's resonating with you? Please let us know in the chat.
And Karen, thank you for all that you're doing. I am also fizzing with excitement because of your MC skills today. I also wanted to say again, thank you to our incredible board, our staff, all of our community partners. Thank you to our ASL interpreters and our live captioners for helping to make this event even more accessible. And thank you to everyone that is here today for your support of ArtsFund. It means the world, and we are forever grateful. Karen.
Thank you, Michael. It has been my pleasure to serve as today's MC. But we're not finished yet. We're about to hear from two of ArtsFund's original beneficiary organizations. We have one final performance, which was reimagined for these socially distanced times. We are joined by Peter Boal of Pacific Northwest Ballet, an ArtsFund partner since our founding in 1969 and one of the largest and most highly regarded ballet companies in the United States. PNB has been reimagining dance for film these past 14 months. Dancers have been performing on stage at McCaw Hall for digital releases, in alternative performance spaces, and at our region's many parks, beaches, and natural spaces. The piece you'll see happening was filmed with COVID-19 safety measures around our beautiful city. But first, we'll hear from Amada Cruz, who became the CEO of the Seattle Art Museum in September 2019. SAM has been the Center for World-Class Visual Arts in the Pacific Northwest since 1933. Thanks again for joining us in Reimagining the Arts. I hope you've enjoyed today's celebration, and please do enjoy these last few delights.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amada Cruz. I'm the Ilse Ball Nordstrom Director and CEO of the Seattle Art Museum. I use she, her pronouns. I identify as a Latinx woman. I have short salt and pepper hair and am wearing a white shirt and a black jacket. I'm currently sitting at my home office where I've been for most of the last year. Behind me is a desk with a computer and a photograph of a car. I want to thank ArtsFund for the invitation to speak today and to thank all of you for supporting ArtsFund and our region's arts and cultural community. Throughout this past year, ArtsFund has been an incredible leader, going above and beyond to bring emergency support to Sam and to our many colleagues across the region, and we are deeply grateful. Sam is fortunate to be among ArtsFund's 6 original partners, and the organization has always stood by us. Together, we've been through difficult times before, but this past year brought challenges that none of us would have predicted. When we closed our doors last March, we thought it would be only for 6 weeks. Immediately, we began emergency planning, everything from how to care for our more than 25,000 objects collection without compromising the health of our staff, to how to manage the financial implications on our institution. What we had hoped would be a brief closure turned into many uncertain months with no end in sight. We needed to reimagine how to deliver our mission to connect art to life and engage our audiences, even though Sam was closed, except for the Olympic Sculpture Park, which became even more precious to all of us as a safe and artistic respite from quarantining. A virtual programming team began working collaboratively to develop new offerings. These included live curator talks, artist talks, a new highly flexible curriculum for our K-12 school and educator programs, and art making activities for all ages. We've learned to authentically connect with our audiences in new ways, which has helped us increase accessibility to our programs and, to our surprise, has even internationalized to the audience. Our audience has now come to expect these online offerings, so we'll have to continue them. ArtsFund delivered its funding early last spring when we were just beginning to feel the very serious financial impact of the closure. It was a scary time. In addition to making major emergency grants, which came just as we were launching these virtual programs, this support gave us the confidence to develop inclusive virtual offerings and the resources to continue planning innovative exhibitions when we did open. Sam has been fortunate enough to reopen again with new exhibitions on view. Jacob Lawrence's narrative series, The American Struggle, and Barbara Earl Thomas's first solo show at SAM on the geography of innocence. Collectively, these artists and exhibitions invite us to consider what is justice and what sort of world we want to create together. Thank you, ArtsFund, for your tireless commitment to creating a dynamic and world-class arts and cultural community. Together, we can build a more connected and collaborative future. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Peter Boal, Artistic Director of Pacific Northwest Ballet. I'm a white male seated before you with brown hair, a beard, black shirt on a neutral couch. We are so pleased to be part of ArtsFund's celebration today, and I am very proud to present to you Happening, choreographed by Leah Tirada and Miles Pirtle to the amazing music by Evan Williams. Enjoy.
Stone pathway running centrally between 2 modern boxy houses. Dancer runs in, white shirt, black pants and sneakers. Dances on one broad step as he bends, stretches and kicks, turning in a circle. Facing forward, legs wide apart, arms stretched high, he leans forward, torso parallel to ground, arms extended, blue sky behind. Second frame with new dancer in similar pose. First dancer disappears. Second dancer in large rehearsal room, ballet shoes, leotard, mask. She travels the large space smoothly on pointe. Pirouettes and arabesques. Final pirouette into a forward lunge, right leg and arms stretched behind, left leg bent forward. She looks along her outstretched left arm. New dancer in forward lunge pose in front of a brilliantly painted wall mural. Image shrinks, becoming the central frame of 9 frames, each with a single dancer in front of a different mural. The 9 dancers move in synchronized steps. In unison, they step forward and reach their right hands forward. Return to single frame. In turn, each of the 9 dancers has a short solo in front of mural. They pass their final pose to the next dancer. The last dancer runs in from left, swings her arms, whirls around, sees a plain wooden chair to the right, straightens her shirt and sits down. 4 dancers in different rooms, sitting at tables, only upper half of bodies visible, moving in unison. Outstretched hands, fingertips touching table, sliding arms to left and right, heads move in large circles, fingers clasped, palms forward. They push away from table, then lean forward. Arms reach round back of heads, pull hair, they stand, arms wheeling, they rotate and sit again. Looking to the left, right arms back in throwing position, spin and put faces on table with hands clasped around their heads. 3 dancers outside, middle dancer in front of wall mural, left and right dancers on roofs with views of Seattle skyline. Dancer at top of parkland steps, undulating backwards over handrail, spins and extends her right arm forward in a halt sign, her upward palm pushing in the direction of the gravel pathway. Leafy green sunlit trees. Dancer on a narrow wooden bridge. Side view, undulates into a low knee bend, turns and stretches his hands upwards towards the sky. Trees and pathway, curving up a hillside. A dancer reaching forward, spins and makes different patterns with her arms and hands, clasps her hands over one shoulder and upward throwing action into treetops against the sky. Black screen showing credits for all participants in happening. And now, credits for mural artists. Final list of credits, ending in thank you, one and all.